Hello, I'm Vivienne McGrath from beingunbeatable.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about when you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed, feeling trapped. And I know what that feeling is like because when I was in the final stages of an abusive relationship, I felt completely emotionally overwhelmed. I felt trapped, like there was no way out. And I thought, I miss the old me. I want the old me back. How did I become this person? This shell of myself, because I didn't recognize myself anymore. And basically, abusive relationships are what's known as codependent ones. And I'll start with the narcissistic person. The narcissistic type of person is somebody who is deeply insecure. They have suffered a childhood trauma of some sort. And so that trauma inside has left them with deep wounds and deep pain that they've got to run from. And the way that they avoid and escape those wounds and insecurities is to create a false self. And this false self is an inflated ego, an inflated sense of entitlement, and that person is the one that protects and guards them from actually getting in touch with that painful true self. So they live this false self. And in order to feel good, this false sense needs a constant source of admiration, approval, affection, being told that they're incredible, they're wonderful. And it's all got to come from an external source because they can't find this from within. So what they need is they need what is known as the perfect supply, the person who is going to supply them with that constant admiration, approval, and adoration. And the perfect person for them is someone who is codependent. And a codependent is someone like I was, who likes nothing better than rescuing somebody who is in need of their help, who is damaged in some way, who's had a troubled past, that they can help them, help rescue them, save them, look after them. And what we do when we are those codependents is we find somebody like that who in our eyes is damaged, and we put their needs above our own. We're willing to do that. And so the narcissist thinks, great, I've got the perfect person. They're going to put their needs second to mine, and I come first all the time. So even, you're telling them you believe in them, even though you know they've got this troubled past, you believe in them. You can see the good in them. Even when you're starting to see the warning signs, you just ignore those red flags. So you're in this relationship and they feel they've found exactly what they need. So they start to love bomb you with this intensity. They might sweep you off their feet. The relationship goes on fast forward and they'll want commitment very quickly, and you move into this very full-on relationship very fast. But then the mask slips because they can't keep up this false self, this mask that they have to hide their true self. They can't keep that up forever, especially in terms of those people who are around them and who get close to them. So the mask starts to slip and you start to see their true self, the real them, the darker them. But they have this real fear of intimacy and closeness because if you get close to them, you might see that real self, the one that they have created the false sense to push down and hide away. They're terrified that you're going to see that. So once you start to get close to them, they've got to push you away, sabotage the relationship, and that is when they start to hurt us. And it's painful. And then what kicks in with them is now they've hurt you and pushed you away. They're terrified that you will leave them. You have seen this darker side and you are going to leave them. So now they've got to do everything they can to get you back because they're going to lose their supply. So they hoover you. they tell you it wasn't me, their false sense kicks in and goes into action to hoover you back and says, you know, it wasn't me, I didn't mean it, I love you, and it was because of my troubled past, it was because of anything else other than they're to blame. It's because you made me angry, it's because whatever excuse they come up with, they try to hoover you back. And if we do question their behavior, then they'll also go into these manipulative tactics like gaslighting, which I have done a fuller video and post about, so check that one out. They go into gaslighting, where they say that you're exaggerating it, you're too sensitive, you're making things up. Oh, sorry, that's my cat. Every time I start talking on the video, my cat wants to join in, so you're going to hear her doing a little bit of her own talking. So they'll manipulate you, and they'll also bring others into the equation, and they'll tell you, you see, this person agrees with me that you're the crazy one. Or they'll create this smear campaign where they tell everybody about your bad behavior and how they're the victim of you, not the other way around. So there's all these dreadful tactics. And it gets more complicated than that, because codependents, as we are also full of deep-seated insecurities, and we are also terrified of losing them. We too fear abandonment. So when we've been gaslighted and manipulated, and our self-esteem is completely shot, and we're confused by this behavior, one minute they love us, one minute they are hurting us, then we start to believe we are to blame, and we'll do anything to get them back because we're terrified of losing them. The thought of losing them, especially if we've got children, is really frightening. But the thought of staying there and enduring more of this pain and the rest of our life like this is also gut-wrenching. So we do become totally and utterly emotionally overwhelmed. We feel trapped. We don't know how to get out or to change the relationship. Nothing we've tried has worked. And the problem is, this narcissist's need to get their supply and to get you to adore them again. We will do everything we can to get them back, and we go back into that mode of, I can fix this, I can save you, I can overlook what you've caused, the pain you've caused me, because I can see your damaged past. If we do go back into that rescue mode and stay in the relationship, well, it's an empty bucket. The narcissists need to feed that false sense, to give them that security, to hide from the pain of their true self that they're in denial about and cannot face at all costs. That insecure, weak person that they despise. They need this constant source of supply, of admiration, of love, of being somebody looking after them, putting their needs last and the narcissist first. It's an empty bucket. You are never, ever going to satisfy them. You'll just keep endlessly feeding them. And it's killing you. You're exhausted. You're overwhelmed. So I would suggest trying something else. Why not just trying to let go? You're not his or her therapist. You're not their mother. You are not responsible for their actions or to blame for them. So why not let them go and let them be an adult and be accountable for their own behavior and look after themselves, and you just stop doing that. Because even if they're changing because you're encouraging them to, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. They need to hit their own rock bottom and want to change themselves. So I would suggest let go. And why not focus on you instead? Put your needs first for once. Where are you in all this? So I know what you're feeling as well is, Does this mean I have to make decisions about leaving the relationship because that's too scary, that's too overwhelming? No, I'm not saying that. Just because you don't need to know the answers to everything right now. You don't need to know the answer to that right now. Let's just take first things first. And the first thing to do is detach. Detach from them and their behavior. You're not responsible for them. You're not their mother, you're not their therapist or father. You are both adults, and you need to take responsibility for your happiness and your well-being, and they need to take responsibility for theirs. Only then can the two of you be really good in a relationship. So first things first, you start to detach from them, let go of them, and focus on you. I would say the next thing to do is join a support group, because they're invaluable. Meeting up with, whether it's online or in person, in a support group, and talking to others who've gone through what you've gone through and who are perhaps further down the line in their recovery to you is going to be invaluable. It was for me. It really helped me understand the dynamics of the relationship and how I was playing a role, and to start to learn how I could start focusing on me instead of wasting all my energy on trying to save them and rescue them and fix them. I started to take my power back, and that was really liberating. I'd also seek professional help and support. I've listed many domestic violence free and anonymous helplines on my blog www.beingunbeatable.com, and I'll put them in the comments below as well. Get help and support. It's invaluable. You can't do this alone. Thirdly, I would say start to read whatever you can. Knowledge is power. Self-help books are incredibly rewarding. I've read many of them, and I've listed all my top ones on another blog post and in another video as well, so I will also put information about that. Self-help books, knowledge is power, understanding the dynamics of the relationship that you're in, your role in it, how you can start to change the way you behave, the way you react, and the way you respond to them is very powerful. So detach, join a support group, get professional help and support, and read every self-help book that you can. That's what I would say is the first thing that you can do. I have online video courses as well that you could do about understanding whether you're in an abusive relationship, and if you are at the point of leaving, how to get through that very painful process and start to turn your life around. Self-esteem is key here. So first things first, just focus on you. Take your power back by placing the energy you've been wasting on them and putting it back where it belongs, which is onto you. And all those scary things that you're overwhelmed by, such as should I leave the relationship now or not, don't worry about them. By the time you're ready to know the answer to that question, it will come. And when it does, you will have the self-esteem and strength to make the right decision. So I hope that video has helped. And if so, if you like that, please click the thumbs up, subscribe, and share with others. Help me spread the word. I'll see you in the next video.